Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Number one. Housing Development Progress. Number one and the best. Housing Development Progress. Number one. Housing Development Progress. In Nigeria. Housing Development Progress. In Africa. Housing Development Program and the globe. Number one, Housing Development Program.
Glad to have you join me on Housing Development, a program that answers the questions on real estate, housing construction, mortgage finance, and a whole lot more. Here we'll bring you up to speed on the major happenings in the housing sector, both on the local and international scene. As always, I am Flora Ani, your housing diva. Today we shall be discussing housing issues as usual as it affects Nigerians and the country. Stay tuned for the latest headline news and the housing sector. I will be back in a moment.
Nigerian Institute of Building (NIOB) is set to host its 54th annual conference and general meeting from August 20 to August 23, 2024 at the Wonderland Event Center in Awka, Anambra State. This major event, themed Building Profession Practices and Sustainable National Development, will gather over 3,000 stakeholders from the construction industry. NIOB National President, Builder Alderton Ewa highlighted the importance of the conference as a forum for sharing knowledge and advancing sustainable building practices. Ewa emphasized the construction industry's significant impact on Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP, and national development. He called for policies that encouraged sustainable practices, including the use of environmentally friendly materials and methods. The Nigerian Society of Engineers, NSE, has blamed increasing cases of building collapse on the neglect of building professionals in construction across the country. The NSE president, Margaret Oguntala, disclosed that the Society's engineering regulation and management body, as well as the Failure Analysis and Investigation Committee, have commenced project site inspection to ensure that only qualified professionals supervise construction work. Investigations by the Building Collapse Prevention Guide also attributed excessive loading, use of substandard materials, faulty design, poor workmanship, and weak foundations, contributing significantly to the collapses. The Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, in a statement released recently, has stated that high interest rates and inflationary pressures are currently slowing property business across the country. The executive director of HDAN, Barrister Festus Adebayo, said that the rise in property prices is partly due to inflation and the high cost of building materials, exacerbated by the devaluation of the naira and the rising costs associated with importing construction materials. Adebayo added that the cost of maintenance have risen, unsettling the rental market and squeezing renters. He, however, recommended that the government should either subsidize locally sourced building materials or reduce the cost.
To read the full full details of the news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com, and also don't forget to go to our YouTube channel Housing TV Africa and click on the subscribe button. Every year, people keep looking for houses or land to buy. For many prospective homeowners in Nigeria, their dreams of having a decent roof over their heads through real estate developers fade away into misery and pain. A lot of Nigerians have fallen victims to these fraudulent developers as they barely ever have their monies recovered. On Voices on the Street today, Nigerians speak on ways to end unethical practices in the housing sector. Have a look.
November 17th, I found out that after getting a land in Federal House in Lugbe, they said it has an AMAC paper. But all of a sudden, at the end of the day, I was informed that it's no longer AMAC, it's FHA. And today, I'm no longer in custody of that land. I've lost the land because they say it's not AMAC land, it's FHA. But I don't know the difference between AMAC and FHA. Let there be a clarification on all this different burden of acquiring landed property. So if the government or government of Abuja or Nigeria can be able to differentiate between AMAC and FHA land or C of O, or
when you are looking at fraud in real estate, the foundation of that fraud, the governments, they are the architects of this fraud. But the society and the government has failed the people where the government have collided, in agreements to build houses that the masses cannot afford. And they will now end up selling it back to themselves. You see, where is our federal mortgage systems? To me, I feel the first thing the government should do is to first of all know those who are into real estate business in Nigeria and in Abuja in particular. Let us have a database of these real estate personnel registered with us. Apart from registered with CAC, government should establish maybe an agency solely responsible for housing management in Nigeria.
One of the things that causes all this fraud in the country is because of the system of the country does not work. Somebody do a fraud and is being allowed to get away with it. And that's why you discover that there are a lot of people that are scammers. They go into a business that they are really there to sap money from people. And another thing that people do, subscribe from things, that is they try to look for things that they will get it easy without really going through the strenuous of finding out the genuineness of what they are really entering into. Whenever you want to subscribe for any site in town, you try to do a background search to be sure that that thing you are subscribing for is genuine before you do subscribe on it.
I think people should be more careful because a lot of people go walk around claiming to be agents, whereas they are just scammers. So before anyone gives money to an agent, I think you should verify. Real estate agents always have something to recognize them to be an agent. Maybe a tag, a tag, or better still, their real estate firm. Real estate firm has their legal emblem, legal logo. So when you don't see, if a client don't see that logo in whoever claims to be an agent, it's risky giving the money to that person.
Voices on the Street there. Purchasing a house and land for sale is a significant decision that must be carefully considered because there are numerous variables at play. One of the riskiest kinds of investments in Nigeria is in real estate, particularly given the country's poor regulatory environment. Whether you're renting or buying real estate can be a tricky business. And in today's technology-saturated world, scams seem to thrive in the real estate market. Rental scams are executed by criminals in a variety of ways, but the goal is the same: milk potential tenant out of as much money as possible. Let's take a listen to Town Planner Umar Shuaib, the former coordinator, Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, as he speaks on tackling real estate fraud and sharp practices in Nigeria.
In this country today, there are two cities, Abuja and Lagos, where houses are very expensive. Property development is very expensive, and you make a lot of money in these places. Abuja being the national capital, it attracts so many investors far and wide. So people come with ideas from all nook and corners of Nigeria. You have people that come. In fact, we have even people that come from the international community. One of the commonest practice is getting a land that doesn't belong to a developer. And how does he get it? All titles in Abuja, you cannot get a title unless you apply. When you apply, they approve your application, they allocate land to you. They first give you right of occupancy before they issue the certificate of occupancy. But because people are desperate, with that right of occupancy, if you have settled all the bill for the certificate of occupancy, the development control will require the proof of the settlement of these ones even before you get the CO4. If actually the land belongs to yours, they go and request for the authentication of that title in the land registry. And if the land registry confirms, then they can give you building plan approval. But the problem is not there. The problem is that people will go and clone a document that is not theirs. Some of them got the information from the system in the land registry. Some of them get the information outside because so many people that want to dispose of their lands will make the document to fly in the property market. When a fraudster see a very choice land, he will go and clone it, duplicate it, and produce a document that is replica of the original without the knowledge of the owner. They go to development control and apply for building plan approval. The original owner is there. He doesn't know that somebody is fraudulently applying to get building plan approval on his land. At times you find somebody, a fraudster, will go and claim a certificate of occupancy of a land in which the owner has not yet collected. How do they have the information that plot number so has his certificate of occupancy uncollected in land registry? And then they use their connection, whatever they use, to collect the certificate of occupancy on behalf of the rightful owner. There are the people that knows. It means there must be connivance of the insider. There are people that are working honestly. Yes. There are people that are working dishonestly. That is how the system is today. We have the good and the bad in the system. And the bad paint the good ones black. Now, what I advise the property developers and the off-takers themselves, all property owners, make sure that they always constantly visit and make sure that the records are intact, and always visit their land to make sure nobody is developing their lands. It doesn't stop. Also, at times, it doesn't even stop at the land registry. It goes off to Corporate Affairs Commission. Anybody that has interest in somebody's land that is very lucrative will go to Corporate Affairs Commission fraudulently and change the ownership of the directors of that company. It has happened. We caught so many of them like that. The fraud has spread to all other areas that their interests are there. They want to protect their interests, despite the fact they know that whatever there is wrong. And the most painful matter, the first issue about this matter is that you have people that save their money. They spend so many years. Some took loans. They are retirement dependent benefits. Yeah. They want to pay for this type of land, thinking that they are going to own their houses. When the problem starts, definitely if it is discovered that this man doesn't own the land, he's a fraudster, the Development Control Authority will remove that illegal structure. And since these people that have now hooking to get their money is going to be a problem, it all goes in court. Most of times, the criminals, they abscond. Yes. Even if they are served with court notices, there will be nobody to collect the notices. And that is how the case will be destroyed even in the court. This development, does he have the title document? Yes, it has. So confirm, is the person whose name is in the title document, is he the right person you are dealing with? You have to go to that extent. Also, how the wrong person is not the owner of the document. If you have established that, the next step is establish, yes, he has the building plan approval. If he doesn't have the building plan approval, it's another issue. So when you establish that, I'm free there, everywhere is there free for you to go. You can go to lands registry, get whatever information that you have, the name of the developer, the name original. You know, there are some land that change hands twice, thrice before it reaches the actual developer. Make sure I follow it all, because your money is there. There are people that want to buy the land and put up 10 billion naira to develop the housing estate. That money is big. So spend your money to make sure that you are not losing the money.
Town planner Umar Shuaib, the former coordinator of Abuja Metropolitan Management Council. Now let's look at some of the top real estate scams in Nigeria. Fake property listings. Scammers advertise properties that do not exist or are not for sale, collecting deposits from unsuspecting buyers. This listing often features attractive prices to lure in victims quickly. Always verify the property through multiple visits and seek legal advice before making any payment. We look at overselling. This is one of the common real estate scams in Nigeria. It is when estate companies sell more properties than what is available. As a result of greediness, some real estate agencies continue selling properties even when it has been sold out. You can avoid this scam by always asking for a physical allocation of the property you bought and an allocation paper for legal purposes. Title document forgery is another kind of scam. Scammers often forge property titles and sell the same property to multiple buyers. These forged documents can appear highly convincing, making it crucial to conduct thorough due diligence. Always conduct a title search at the land registry to confirm the authenticity of property documents. In addition, cross-check the details with other available records and seek professional legal assistance to verify the documentation. Uncompleted building scam. Some scammers and unprofessional estate developers sell properties that are still under construction and never complete these buildings. Buyers are left with unfinished structures and significant financial losses. Always ensure that the developer has a good track record and that there is a legally binding agreement for the completion of the project. Visit the construction site regularly and monitor the progress to ensure the project is on track. Alternatively, you can engage the services of a reputable Nigerian construction company to guarantee the delivery of your cherished real estate investment. Let's take a short break. I'll be back shortly.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh,
Huh? What is it again?
Oga, at the drive this car, my mind is not there. My landlord is on my neck.
Your landlord again. I thought I have told you this before. Get a mortgage, register with NHF scheme, and get a home up front. What is so difficult about this?
Oga, I will do just that. See, I will shame that my landlord. Mortgage.
At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. In a rapidly urbanizing world, access to affordable housing is a fundamental right that is often overlooked. Nigeria, with its burgeoning population and urbanization rates, faces a pressing need for sustainable and affordable housing solutions. Many Nigerians struggle to access affordable housing due to limited access to financing options, high interest rates, stringent loan terms, and a general lack of financial education all pose significant barriers. What must be done to adequately finance the housing we need? Let's understand what needs to be done from these housing stakeholders.
I think one of the most important things, especially coming into this industry, that I've realized is extremely important is this idea of strategic collaboration. Strategic collaboration and partnership in terms of working with credible individuals, entities, companies to come together to develop real solutions to real problems that exist in our community.
The collaboration, that there should be a definitive collaboration between Redan, Mban, and maybe Bompan or whatever. That should be very, very visible from today. And that should dovetail into the fact that we must identify one project, at least one project, drawn from this particular year 2004 year, that we must show to the world next year that we achieved as a result of this year 2004 AIHS.
The title this year is the theme of this year conference, the house we need. We first and foremost have to define who are the we. The we are the Nigerians. And my need is different from your need. So as long as the solution is focused on one need, then we'll never have the solution. So we need to define the we before we can meet the need. So we need to deviate from this 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom mentality that's what they need. We need to define the youth, for the displaced, for the young ladies. Every young lady that moved to Lagos, they don't have landlord renting houses to them. Gone are the days where YWCA were building for them. We need to go to all the model of housing delivery and visit them, not just sticking to the traditional method of everybody needs mortgage, everybody needs to live in his own house, and make opportunity available and improve where people are already living.
Financing the housing we need, what to do. We think that we need at continental level and even at Nigeria level to do three things. What we as a development bank, Shelter Africa, we propose, we develop what we call viral model. And the viral model just help each country to put in place what we call country housing and urban development partnership strategy. So when you go to a country, it should be easy, like World Bank does for a strategy to reduce poverty. We should have a clear document at country level or at state level saying this is the direction, this is the need, this is the gap, and then it can also help investors to take quick decision. They can also see where there is attractive opportunity for them.
Housing to us is very, very important. But housing is not a floating phenomenon. Housing is part of a human settlement system. And you will find that in an average human settlement, housing occupies between 50 to 55% of that settlement. And when you talk about real estate, it takes about 70%. If that be so, it means that we have to take deliberate decisions on housing. And we won't do that until we have placed value on the life of the Nigerian citizen. Until we realize that cities are built corporately, then government should make land available to corporate organizations. So whatever they build here and they succeed, they can go and repeat in other places. We have a myth. We cannot achieve proper housing, sustainable housing in Nigeria if we don't plan. If we do realize this, I think the next step is to now take, we've discussed a lot of whys, a lot of whats, a lot of hows. We should not deal with who. I think AIHS should do some mobile workshops next year and take this message into the offices of the corridor of power. The Senate President could not come this year. Why don't we have a session with him in his chambers next year? Why don't we go to the Speaker of the House of Rep? Those we know have the ability or capacity to be able to moderate policies in this country.
We are talking about housing when we still have a lot of vacant houses, especially in our major cities. Why do we have that? Is it that we are not building the housing that is needed, or we are just building for the sake of building? We need to really define the kind of building that we need. One other thing is that we need to segment housing. You have social housing, is an aspect of housing. You have the affordable housing. For me, it's so-called affordable, but I prefer to call it probably low income, because are we really building even affordable houses? The answer is no. So we need to also look at rural housing. So if you categorize these houses, then we'll now be able to know the quantum of housing that we need. Then we'll be able to streamline.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global. Keep watching the Housing Development Program.
And that is it on today's episode of Housing Development. Thanks for your time. To catch up on all you've missed or to watch previous episodes of the program, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Housing TV Africa. Do remember to follow us on all social media handles displayed on your screen. I remain Flora Oni, your Housing Diva. See you soon.